All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for the Dan Bongino
Listen,
Show.
man, woman, definitely for children. I'm just going to warn you all in advance. I'm going to give you a few minutes. The show is live, but if you're watching on video, I don't even want to hear myself there. Listen, man, I'm just telling you, big time language alert today. I'm sorry, but that we should have recorded the pre-show. Justin, you agree? You don't even know what happened here before that. That could have been the whole show. This show is not for everyone today. But if there was like the line in the sand or red line, whatever, we're at it. We're at it, okay? So I'm just warning you now, language alert. The beginning of maybe this whole show, I don't even know where I'm going to go with this right now, is not going to be for everyone. There are more delicate ways to make the argument I'm about to make, and others will make them. And I saw a tremendous commentary by Matt Walsh last night. I put it out and reposted it. Shapiro's done commentary on this type of stuff. The great one, Mark Levin, and others. I got a bit of Queens in me. I can't get out. So I got a lot to get to today, but I just feel like a disclaimer on this show, and I'm not kidding. It's not a joke. It's only appropriate. All right. Let's get going with the show today. Folks, today's show brought to you by All Family Pharmacy. Save 10% off NAD, which I use, ivermectin, maintenance medications, and more. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino10. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino10. Ivermectin, mebendazole, all of it. Thank you, All Family Pharmacy. So, folks, listen to me. We had this kind of conversation before the show, and I think you could see this morning when I woke up. I put out some posts on Twitter, and of course the rage bots came out in full force. So prepping you again for what's not going to be an easy conversation to have, but we're going to have it nonetheless. We have to excise this cancer from our movement right now. It's our movement, okay? It's ours. We built it. Some of us ran for office on it. We knocked on doors for it. We donated to it. We gave speeches for it. We showed up at events. We showed up at rallies. We showed up at every single parade possible. I'm trying to get people to support this cause of freedom and liberty. We are in a really dangerous spot. I have never, in my 10 plus years now doing this, I've seen it bad, but I've never seen it this bad. Folks, I put this out this morning, and I mean what I say. This portion of people who claim to be part of our movement and our cause, claiming our movement, trying to steal our movement and hijack our movement, who think it's edgy or cool to talk about how much they hate the Jews. And don't bullshit anyone. I'm not talking about, so just so we're crystal clear, so you can shut the fuck up right now about this bullshit. I am not talking about foreign affairs or a foreign government, the government of Israel. You don't like Netanyahu? That is absolutely your right. Make the case, bro. I'm also not talking about censorship. You want to go out there and talk about how much you hate people who are, do your thing. As long as you're not breaking the law, do your thing. We'll make the counter argument. What I'm talking about are people who are trying to infiltrate our movement and destroy us, and the lib media is gleefully playing along, who every single thing has become about the Jews, not Israel. I told you when I first started, and I'm watching this thing. I saw it from the inside, now in the outside. I saw some asshole tweet yesterday that you're still on the Fed payroll. Yes, you're right. Donald Trump's administration is still paying me. Are you a fucking moron? Do you understand these people are fucking insane? Do you know where this goes? You know where this has always gone? This goes to one place, and it is death and destruction. And when you have a choice between civilized man and the demon savages, there's only one fucking choice, man. Civilization. That's it. There's no other choice. Do you understand there are people out there that want to kill you? Folks, to me, this is a spreadsheet. This is not about, I'm not Jewish. I'm a Christian. This is not about a religion to me or a faith. I'm not Jewish. I'm not a convert. I've never been a convert. I've been Christian my whole life. I was baptized. This is a pure tactical argument to me. This goes hatred of any group for their religion, but Jews most prominently, because that's the entry vehicle into further destruction of your soul. This only leads to one place, and that is mass death every single time. Now, the reason this cancer is so particularly dangerous, and I want you to understand this, process this and tattoo it on your brain. The reason this is so dangerous is hating Jews is the only form of overt bigotry that's accepted by people who claim to be part of the wing of both political parties. I'm not talking about the state of Israel or government, motherfuckers, so you can take that shit and shove it up your ass. You know what you're doing. You're conflating the two. I'm crystal clear on what I'm saying. It is the only form of overt bigotry accepted by people who claim the wings of both parties. Claim the wings of both parties. The easiest path to influence, or whatever you call it, in both the wings of both parties, the easiest path from people who claim they're not allowed to talk about it, by the way, is to talk about it, and that's all they do. That's all they do. It's probably less than 10% of what we discuss here. Foreign policy in general, this specific topic, but this morning lines have been crossed. You will be protected by the liberal media and others as long as you profess either implied or explicitly your hatred for the Jews. I told you it's not a language-friendly show. I'm sorry. You want me to make a delicate argument, put it in a dissertation and a PhD paper? This ain't the fucking show. We're going down a dangerous place, folks. You don't think I see the rage bots out there? The rage bots are real. I'm not telling you all of them are bots. A good portion of them are. But the rage bots are real. You want to test this out? Go put out a tweet or a TikTok video about how you think hating the Jews is evil. Just put out something really simple like that. A seemingly simple, unequivocal moral statement of righteousness. Why I wouldn't want to hate anyone for their religion, especially the Jews. Watch what happens. My favorite is when people ask, what happened to you? What happened to me, motherfucker? What happened to you? Nothing happened to me. I think what bothers you is you look in the mirror and you wonder what happened to you. What is it like to live with that kind of hatred in your blackened soul? I told you over and over for 4 weeks now, whatever movement you think that you're a part of, it ain't mine. You can count me the fuck out. I don't give a shit if not a single person watches this show going forward, folks. Look at what I'm telling you. I love the Bongino army. I know you're not going anywhere. I'm being hyperbolic about it. But if you think I'm in this for the clicks and the views, the easiest way to get clicks and views is ironically to not talk about this from people telling you they're not allowed to talk about hating the Jews, which is all they talk about. You don't think we see the rage bots in the chat? Folks, we have to excise this cancer now, man. This only goes to one place. And man, I'll tell you, you don't want to be on the wrong side. If there is a moral arc of history, you don't want to be on the wrong side of it with this one. This is the entry vehicle into a deep, dark hatred that'll take over your life. I promise you, if you were to spout equally evil, but anti-black or anti-Muslim bigotry, there would be people who would shut it down immediately. But the minute you mention the Jews, say, okay. No, it's not with me. I don't want you. I just don't want you. I don't know why you're so offended by that. I just don't want you here. I don't want to be in a clubhouse with rules like that. And then all these assholes making raw political calculations out there, thinking like, oh, well, this is expanding the tent. You don't want these people in your tent, motherfuckers. You don't want these people in your tent. Let me tell you a quick story. When I was a kid, I don't know if you can see this scar on my face. It's like a line or something in my face. I don't even know if it's still there. When I was about 18 years old, there was a house party at my house. Don't ask why. My mom was out or so. We probably shouldn't have been doing it. But it was for friends. We lived on 64th Place, just up from Myrtle Avenue in Glendale, Queens. And a couple of neighborhood kids we really didn't like started showing up. But we were like, you know what? Let them come in. Just like it's happening. Let them come in the tent. At least we'll get their votes or something. Maybe they'll pay us $5 at the door. I think we had a kegger. It probably wasn't even $5. Inflation was probably $1 for that shitty keg beer. So I go across the street, and I was hanging out with this girl at the time who lived across the street. And it was like a bay window, and I could see my own house. And I see this party's getting out of control quick. So being the older brother, I go over there, just like what's happening now in this movement. And the second I go over there, one of these drunken lunatics, I think he's going to grab me around the head like Italian. He's an Italian kid. He knows who he is. You know, they grab you around the head. Hey, cousin Tony, whatever. Grab me around the head. What do you do? He bites me in the face. And a guy smashes a bottle over my head. That actually happened. Because they thought we were going to kick him out. I woke up and I just remember I had hit the concrete. And I woke up in St. John's Hospital across from Queens Center. That's what's going to happen to you in this movement. We will get politically smashed over the head and bit in the face. There is no way this ends well. There's always a time for choosing in your life. That time is now. It's not tomorrow. The time was yesterday. And for those out there, I don't want to say don't have the courage to stand up. I'm not sitting here as some paragon of modern day bravery. Forget that bullshit. People join the fight whenever they get in. Good for you. Don't repel them. Don't become the problem yourself. But folks, the struggle we're in now for this movement we built around freedom and liberty and conserving timeless ideas for everyone, regardless of your religion, your faith, your ethnic background, country of origin, whatever it is. This movement we built is at an inflection point, and you have to start asking yourself, what side do you want to be on? And there are sides. This struggle pales in comparison to what our forefathers and others who built this country had to go through. Folks, I don't mean to play down the gravity of the situation we're in at this particular point in our country's history. However, we have to be candid. You have to look at this and you have to say to yourself, I had a grandfather who fought in the Battle of the Bulge in World War II. I had an uncle who was shot in the back south of Thu Duc, Vietnam, who got the Bronze Star with a V device on it. He was shot in the back trying to rescue his friends. This fight we're in now pales in comparison. This is like turns into a Twitter war against a bunch of rage bots. I know this has caused me and others not that great security situation, and it's part of the business, man. Listen to me. I promise you, I am nobody's victim at all. I chose this public life, and that's a part of it. I abhor violence and political violence. I've spoken out about it so many times. You can just, we could play a supercut for 2 hours. But folks, if there was ever a time for choosing, this is it. And you can skip all the what happened to you bullshit. Like I said, it's not about what happened to me. Nothing happened to me. I've always been the same. What happened to you? Where's this rage come from? Folks, evil is real, man. Now, I don't know, if you believe in the spirit realm or not or whatever. It's your choice. But we better do something about it because we're running out of time. And this cancer will eat the host alive. And I'm going to tell you who loves this. Matter of fact, they are fertilizing, not salting the earth of it. They are fertilizing this ground. The far left and their media allies. They love this. I always bring the receipts for this stuff. Always. I think it was my first show where I said to you that there's this symbiote out there. This, Eddie Brock Venom-like symbiote, right? Except it's not just Eddie Brock and Venom. It's like 4 or 5 different factions of people who claim to be allies of both parties. You've got the Jew haters on the left, Jew haters on the right, black pillars, doomers, liberals, Karens, media people they all have the same goal. It's to dismantle this coalition before it gets its sea legs. And with this coalition, I don't mean the Republican Party. I mean this new MAGA movement that scares them. And it scares them because it's rare that you have a candidate like Donald Trump, who's been able to unify a historic number of black voters, Hispanic voters, Jewish voters. You just don't see that in the Republican Party. Think about it. What they thought was their, quote, demographic destiny on the left has become a demographic destiny on the right, thanks to Donald Trump, how he's managed to break through this and do something no one could have imagined. Going into the South Bronx, and remember that when he went to the bodega and he had a bunch of people show up screaming pro-Trump stuff? When was the last time you ever saw that happen? This terrifies the symbiote. So they've all aligned together to try to divide us. And I told you in the first show, I can prove it to you by the Ox's gourd effect. How when they find someone they previously found repulsive, useful, they'll completely change the way they talk about him. Here, you want to see an example? I saw it yesterday. Look at this tweet. I don't want to make this about Candace. I'm a free speech guy. Again, I said my piece. You can do what she wants. You choose our content, fine, do your thing. I'm fully against any kind of censorship. It doesn't help. But I want to show you what they do here. This is the Ox's gourd effect. Here's the Washington Post. Notice how they discuss Candace here. Right-wing influencer Candace Owens. She talks about this, released this new video about Charlie. And she goes on to, but I want you to, right-wing influencer Candace Owens. Okay, that's pretty milquetoast. Here's the same Washington Post in another piece about Candace Owens. Far-right commentator Candace Owens. This is, by the way, when she was forbidden from entering Australia, which is disgusting on its face. It doesn't help. Censoring people does not help. These travel bans don't help either. I don't agree with her, obviously, but censoring her is a fool's errand. The point is, at least we're consistent. You notice how the Washington Post, when they sense they can use this story to break the party to pieces, they change the way they talk about people? I saw this 1,000 times on the other side. They'd be like, respected political commentator John Smith. Then you'd go pull up an article during COVID or whatever. They'd be like, COVID conspiracy theorist John Smith. It was the same freaking guy. The Ox's gourd effect. Once you see it, you can never unsee it. Folks, We're losing time. We're losing time. I'm begging you at my own expense for everything I have and I'm worth, and please don't fall prey to this stuff. This only goes to one place. All right, I've got something else I want to bring up here too, because I brought up, how these liberal media people will completely change their argument when they feel like they can fracture us and break us apart. And the black pillars and the doomers and the others kind of roll with this. Whatever they find useful to fracture this movement, they'll do it. I promise you, most people aren't here. But a lot of folks who are younger are being sucked into this spiral. And there's no getting out of it once you fall down that trap. But something happened yesterday, and I had actually forgotten about this story. I saw a piece, just don't put it up yet, but I saw a piece in a liberal media outlet. And folks, it's obviously false, but I want to put it up because I want to show you something, because I'm going to make an offer, okay? Take a quick break here, and I'm going to make an offer. And if you all are truthful, the haters, the Jew haters, the media clowns, and the people who've chosen to make this show a vehicle for your darkened soul, I'm going to make you very rich then if you can prove this is true. They're very rich. Tell you what, I was going to say 100,000. I'll double it. I'll make it 200,000 cash if after I show you this article, you can prove this is true. Okay? You say, well, sue them. Whatever. It's why? For 6 months of depositions? They won't correct this either. All right, I'll get to that in a second. Folks, Brickhouse Nutrition. Whoa, what was that? Sound went on my ear. The only way to lose weight is not to inject yourself once a week. Nope, there are other ways to do it. I've been using this product, Brickhouse Nutrition's Lean, Lean. I love the product because as I'm getting older at 51, it's kind of tough for me to carry around any extra weight. I need a knee replacement really bad. Sometimes Jasmine watches me walk down the hallway and she doesn't want to say anything, but she gives me that look. Are you okay? No. The left leg has fallen apart. It's like a stick now compared to the right leg. I just don't want to get this knee replacement. So I had to lose some weight. So what I do, I use Lean. Guy's like, that's not in the read. I don't need to read. I use the product. Paula used the product. I lost a lot of LBs on it, and I stayed lean. It works, and you don't need any injections. This works by controlling your appetite, controlling your blood sugar. Lean was created to do that, replicate the benefits of those weight loss injections, but it goes a step further. Lean, Lean, helps your body turn fat into energy. So you burn it instead of storing it. No prescriptions, no needles. Go to brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Use promo code Dan to get 20% off your order. That's brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. Pick up Lean. It's fantastic. Pick up Field of Greens too. It's one of my favorite products. I take 2 scoops a day. Get that heaping serving of fruits and vegetables. And use promo code Dan. Get 20% off your order. Again, brickhousenutrition.com/Dan. And our next sponsor, Kalshi. Folks, I'm not a huge gambler, but I'm having a lot of fun looking at marketplace predictions on everything from politics to sports. And Kalshi is where you can get some of the best insights on predictions. From sports to politics to finance or any variety of markets people are monitoring, Kalshi.com is a bookmark you need. I featured them in my last election special. They were spot on. The president was elected as predicted. Kalshi.com is one of the only places we can trade on real-world events in all 50 states. Go to Kalshi.com/Bongino. Get a free $10 credit when you trade $100. And it's not just politics or economics. They've got markets on everything from sports to pop culture to climate predictions. Kalshi is a pulse on what the world thinks will happen. So go to Kalshi.com/Bongino. Get a free $10 credit when you trade $100. That's Kalshi, KALSHI.com/Bongino. You must be 21. The purchaser must be present in the state where the trade is placed. See important disclosures at Kalshi.com. Kalshi is subject to U.S. regulatory oversight by the CFTC. Thank you, Kalshi. We appreciate it. Okay. So if the bullshit media is honest, then again, I'm going to make someone very rich today. So I'm going to put out an offer there of $200,000 in cash. We'll get like a fancy suitcase or whatever for you because I know I'll never have to pay it anyway. However, you got to take care of the taxes. If you can prove this made-up story in the Independent, sure, I'd actually forgotten about this one, but it popped up again yesterday. So here's the Independent, not just suggesting, but outright saying, and another attack on what we did at the FBI, of course, because again, the black pillars and the liberals love to attack what we did at the FBI because it works for them to fracture the movement, make it look like the Trump administration from the top down, nothing's happening. You've seen the turn already. People are already turning on President Trump. The bullshitters. It's a small portion, but the bullshitters. Okay. It says that reports previously indicated that Marshall Yates, who left, along with Bongino and this other woman who worked there, received high-level security clearances at the FBI despite failing polygraph examinations. Let that one stew a minute. Really? I failed the polygraph? I've never failed the polygraph in my life, number one. Number two, and again, I will $200,000 cash. I'd go get it and put it in a fancy suitcase and put it out here for you all to see. However, I know I'll never have to pay it, so I never failed a polygraph to take that position, ever. Put a FOIA out, get an official response from the FBI about the failed polygraph. Just do it. I'm encouraging you. We have a whole human resources division and say, show us evidence that Dan failed the polygraph. They just made the story up. It's totally made up. Now, will the Independent actually correct that? I don't care if they correct it or not. I really don't. It doesn't matter. You know, could you sue them? Yeah, whatever. You're going to go through it. 2 years of depositions to get these assholes to issue a correction and, you know, paying lawyers and all this stuff. You got to pick your battles on this front. It's just another leak from scumbags on the inside trying to discredit everything we did. Lowest crime rates in American history, massive reforms, terminated the people involved in all the deep state activities, the lowest homicide rate, the indictments and Comey and James and Bolton and others. They just want to discredit all of that. So they just make shit up. You can be very rich out there, all the haters, all the rage bots. Show us you're real and you're not a bot. Go FOIA them. Get some official email for them. Not your AI generated bullshit. Let's see the link in the actual email and you'll be really rich. This is the bullshit you got to deal with. Oh, thank you. Who put that up? Braden McGroin. Bongino disclaimer. If rough language bothers you, today might not be the show for you. Thank you. I appreciate you doing that. I appreciate it. I mean it. The show is not for everyone, and that's okay. That's okay. We don't live and die. We appreciate it. I put out a tweet last night. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting upstairs watching this show about the SEC, and I was counting up the views since we started, not even counting today. And just in a month we've been back, we're at 23 million views. That's great. I love that. But we don't live for that. We live for the truth. Speaking of the truth, so yesterday, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton up today are giving depositions on their involvement with the Jeffrey Epstein case. And Hillary Clinton, Sergeant Schultz it apparently the whole time. She don't know nothing about nothing. Here's a quick clip from Fox, and this is all you need. It's a short one because this is all you need to know about what Hillary said yesterday. Check this out.
The Associated Press is reporting Hillary Clinton in testimony says, and she's under oath, she has no information on Epstein's criminal activities and never recalls meeting him.
Folks, this is another one of those issues where you have two sides. You have people who should and are genuinely concerned, me included. Unless you missed it, you were somehow blind over the last year about a very serious case. And then you have other people who are using this exclusively as a vehicle to fracture this MAGA movement and attack President Trump. There's no crossover between those two groups. You can see it, which is really weird because you had people on the left like Rachel Maddow from MSNOW, formerly MSNBC. Rachel Maddow saying in the past how falsely accusing someone, she's not talking about President Trump here, but they are now, of these kind of pedo crimes is really the worst thing you could possibly do. But yet they do that now because they think they've got a way to fracture this place. Here, is this a Maze Moore? I always like to give a good hat tip. The great Maze Moore on X, Mazemoore. Great follow. You can watch all the videos there on X. Follow the account. It's wonderful. It's actually amazing for people in the space, too, who want to do show prep. This is Rachel Maddow versus the absolutely incompetent jerkwad, Ted Lieu. And I want you to see the side-by-side. We had to jump cut this around in the interest of time, but check this out.
Pedophilia, of course, is the most repulsive of all human behavior. It is so repulsive. It is so evil that it makes us see red, right? It is almost literally unthinkable to decide that you're going to try to harness that for political gain, that you're going to make false accusations of that kind systematically to reduce your political opponents to non-human status. That is a horrific abuse of its own.
There's highly disturbing allegations of Donald Trump raping children, of Donald Trump threatening to kill children.
Jeffrey Epstein, again, the president's longtime friend. Donald Trump and his longtime friend, the convicted pedophile and sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, holding hands and gazing lovingly at each other while they kick up their heels, seemingly delighting in their long-standing friendship.
The Democrats know, of course, that all of that stuff about Trump in there is bullshit. It doesn't matter. These people have no moral compass, lodestar, North Star, nothing. They don't care. You never saw shit about these files under Biden. And of course, the part they leave out, put up that tweet. What's this lady's name? Jacqueline Sweet, at J Sweet, L-I, I don't know, underscore I. Scoop. The 3 missing interviews with the Epstein accuser made unsubstantiated explicit claims against Donald Trump contain at the time outlandish allegations that contradict what is known about Epstein's life in the 1980s. The accuser has faced several fraud and theft charges in Washington, and in 2023, a felony charge for the exploitation of an elderly person in Georgia, accused of stealing the money of a terminally ill man, saved it for his family to pay for his own funeral. The 3 interviews missing from the Epstein file sparked outrage and investigation by House Democrats. Now, rewind back the tape to what I said to you on day 1, and I don't want you to forget this axiomatic truth either. The way to conduct an investigation is to take a pool of information and distill down what's real and what's not. When people are doing the opposite and flooding the zone with information, but information that's not evidence, they're doing the opposite. They're not trying to get to any truth. They're actually trying to cloud the truth. I've explained this to you day 1. They overload you with facts and underwhelm you with evidence. Well, Dan, how could facts not be evidence? It's easy. Once in a blue moon, you'll get a robbery or a theft in a store down here. I saw there was like a Dick's Sporting Goods a couple years ago. Well, let's say Andrew 2. Andrew 2, number 2, he needs a lacrosse stick. Well, Andrew was in Dick's. That's a fact. He's got the receipt. Correct? The problem is the day the place was robbed, Andrew was here working and someone else is on video stealing it. That's why we don't put out facts that aren't evidence. When someone is overwhelming you with facts, and you've seen it, you saw it with the Bride of Charlie bullshit, but absolutely underwhelming you with anything that's evidence, are they really seeking the truth or clouding it? The mark of a real investigator and someone really interested in getting to some truth is someone who does the opposite. Folks, it's fairly obvious what's going on right now. This symbiote is unbelievably destructive. You're seeing it, and I want to thank all the people who stood up. And let me be clear on this too, just rewinding back to the beginning of the show. I don't care when you join the fight. I had to stay out of it. I was in government. I can't speak out. It's not about you when you're there. You have to just stay quiet and do your job. I was proud to do it. I don't care when you join in. It doesn't matter to me. Thank you. Again, I saw Matt Walsh last night. Ben Shapiro has been fighting the fight. Mark Levin, and many, many others. Graham Allen. Graham has done just amazing work. You know, you got a lot of these. You got Phil, known as Cat Turd, my guy. These guys have been fighting this fight for a long time. Been accused of every single thing under the sun. I want to thank you all because this is a dangerous time, but let's not exaggerate either. You know, we're not staring down in trench warfare in World War I, mustard gas flying in the trench and killing us all. People prior to us had to deal with so much more. This is the time to stand up. Luckily, our opponents on the other side of the aisle are so unbelievably stupid and have fallen into this endless rage spiral, trying to hijack our movement with a small portion of them, that they just fall into traps like suckers, like what happened in the State of the Union. That trap could not have been more obvious. Their rage against Donald Trump is so blind that even when Donald Trump says something at the State of the Union, a bit of hyperbole, but stand up if you're not a dipshit, and the liberals are like, he's obviously setting you idiots up. This is just like the gift of Donald Trump, to do fairly obvious and say fairly obvious, transparent things, and to get the Democrats to show their ass. It is an incredible freaking talent. I've never seen anything like it. Here's what I mean. Here's Caroline Levitt. What did I tell you the other day after the State of the Union? I said he was so clearly, President Trump, setting a trap that it's amazing that Democrats are, get up and clap if you support America. Democrats are like, I'm not getting up. I'm going to sit on my ass. Why would you do that? You knew he was recording this for a campaign spot. I was reading Peggy Noonan last night at the Wall Street Journal. I like Peggy's columns. We feel differently about politics. It's okay. Again, I don't get into like rage stuff all the time with these people. Peggy Noonan didn't like this. That's okay. Thought it was too political. We're in a different time. It's just where we are. Sometimes you got to fight fire with fire. Here's Caroline Levitt in a Fox hit saying exactly what I told you the other day. Not because it was some stroke of genius. It was obvious. They walked right in a trap. Listen to her talk about exactly this.
President Trump set the Democrats up in a trap, and they fell right into it because they cannot help themselves. They truly stand on the side of the tens of millions of illegal aliens who they allowed to pour in to our nation's open borders under the Biden administration. They truly stand on the side of career criminals who have gone to jail not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 12 times in the case of the young woman in North Carolina whose neck was slit by a career criminal who was released back onto the streets in North Carolina by Democrat policies, and they could not even stand for her heartbroken mother, who President Trump was commending last night.
It was an obvious trap. She's telling you it was a trap. Do you guys remember after the State of the Union, I said to you, not only was it a trap, it was like a bear trap, painted black on the top of white snow, with no trees around, with a sign, bear trap ahead, bear trap 10 yards, bear trap 5 yards, don't step in bear trap. And the Democrats are like, you think we should step in the bear trap? And they didn't. And of course, it was only a matter of hours before these dumbasses sitting on their ass, when they were given just an opportunity to stand for the country in a moment of bipartisan unity. Here's the ads playing in swing districts. You couldn't have set it up any better. Check this out.
These people are crazy.
That spot was cut by a conservative group and will run nationally and target races in several key states.
I'm almost hesitant to talk about this. Because with the Democrats, it's like, I want you to keep doing this. Why would I object if you're screwing up your own movement? Why would I stop you from destroying yourselves? But the thing is, here's the thing. So why are you talking about it? Because, folks, look at me. Zoom in. Well, don't. Now listen to me. They are so overtaken by rage against this president that no matter how many times you tell them this is obviously a trap. Guy, what's the Star Wars guy? It's a trap. Admiral Akbar. That's a shout out to Guy. I don't know about Andrew too and his love of Star, but he's like obsessed with Star Wars. No matter how many times you tell them it's a trap, they're going to do it anyway. They can't stop themselves. And listen to me. Hey, this is important, okay? Trump scares them more than any other prior Republican president or even candidate. The Romneys, the Bushes, the Reagans, all of them. And it's because of what I said in the beginning of the show. Donald Trump has managed to do things. Reagan had special political gifts. Let's isolate him out for a minute. Trump has managed to crack the code in urban communities, the Black community, the Hispanic community, the Jewish community, the Asian community. The Democrats have played ideological, partisan, identity politics games for years. And folks, let's just be honest, they've worked. They beat us at this. Trump is the first one to crack that. What they're afraid of is the coalition he built in this Make America Great Again wing of the growing wing of now the Republican Party. They are absolutely terrified that going forward, their only ability to win, which is through cheating and identity politics games, are going to be completely finished by the SAVE Act and the MAGA coalition. You have a choice to make. You have a choice to make going forward. And this president has just done things different. He has a gift. You know what the gift is? He's got a lot of gifts. I mean, the ability to command attention is his most powerful one. But he's got this gift of just stating the obvious and then getting the liberals to object to it, i.e. sitting on their asses during the State of the Union. We just could have stood for America. Not for the Republican Party, just for America. This is Guy's favorite clip. I always like to announce that, of course. Here is Donald Trump stating the obvious, and the left went crazy over this. He's doing an interview on the just rampant fraud in the Somali community. And by the way, fraud in any community. I saw another thing about this year. I don't care who it is. Somali community, a Muslim community, Jewish community, a Catholic community in the mountains. I don't care. Fraud is fraud. However, the fraud in the Somali community in Minnesota is well documented. I mean, shit, when I was there, what were we up to, like 100 arrests on this alone on the federal side? And we don't even have the assets to prosecute this stuff en masse. Typically, this is left to state and locals, but they weren't doing anything. Trump is just stating the obvious here. And the left went absolutely crazy with the identity politics bullshit. I'm telling you, 90% of sane people with a functioning neuron heard this and were like, yeah, if you're going to migrate to America, you probably shouldn't steal from us and contribute to society. Trump stating the obvious, liberals claw at their face and shit their pants. Check this out.
Immigrants that you do want to see in America?
Well, they certainly contribute. Yeah, I want to see people. Yeah, I want to see people that contribute. I don't want to see Somalia. I don't want to see a woman that, marries her brother to get in and then becomes a congressman, does nothing but complain. All she does is complain, complain, complain. And yet her country's a mess. It's one of the worst in the world. Let her go back, fix up her own country. Somalia, yeah, and I was right about it. I started complaining about Somalia long before the scandal. The horrible things they're doing to Minnesota, it's incredible. They have an incompetent governor there too. The Democrats are running some bad ships.
When I first heard that, I thought he said Democrats are running some bad shit. I was like, yeah, go for it. This guy has a lot of political abilities we have not seen in the past. But one of them is to just state a fairly obvious tautology and to have the left go crazy over it. And they do it every time. They fall in this trap every single time. Somalia is obviously a broken country. Obviously. I mean, just look at what's going on over there, just on the entire continent with Somaliland. There's no problem with saying that. Like, oh my gosh, that's racist. Nobody mentioned anything about race at all. You did. You do this all the time. You just walked in another trap. Everyone listening to this is like, please do not come to our country if you want to defraud the country. Everyone's like, yeah, that makes sense. The left is like, that's definitely racist. This is why you assholes continue to get crushed. By him, not necessarily other Republicans. I can't deny the fact that other Republican, races in off cycles and the midterms may not go well. I saw one of these liberal outlets, Dan Bongino, says that the midterms may not go well for Republicans. It may go great. They may not go. I don't sit here and tell you, don't worry about voting, folks. Red wave. Because I'm not an idiot. That's not the way to get people out to vote. Of course, there's a probability it may not go well. The probability could go great. But when Donald Trump is on the ballot, it's because people hear things like that and vote for him because they're like, yeah, that just makes sense. Okay, bring some receipts. Evidence matters. Of course it matters. Remember, I just told you, flooding the zone with facts not related to evidence is not getting to truth, it's obscuring it. Well, let's get to truth. Let's produce actual evidence that Donald Trump has this gift of stating the obvious on immigration to the country and that the American people largely agree. Here's a CNN poll. Here is a CNN poll. Don't accuse me of partisan bias here. A CNN poll about Trump in his 45 term, where he was on immigration with the public and where he is now. Hold for a second. So if your statement that I'm wrong and I don't have any evidence to back up that Trump is in the right place on immigration, don't come here if you're not going to contribute to the country. If I'm wrong, Trump should be polling worse than he was in 45, correct? Okay, I'm right. The poll says the opposite. Take a listen yourself.
Trust which party more on immigration? In 2018, Democrats had an edge of about 6 points. You come over to this side of the screen now, look at that. Republicans are the ones who actually have an edge on immigration. So this whole idea that Democrats are going to be able to take advantage of the immigration group, of the immigration issue, actually doesn't bear itself out in the polling, despite everything that's been going on. In fact, Democrats are in worse position than they were during Donald Trump's first term.
Folks, again, this show tries to get to a truth lodestar, a compass of true north by showing you things called evidence, not random facts unrelated to the point. If what the left is saying is true or accurate, that Donald Trump's position on immigration, Somali fraud is so unpopular, then it should show up. The actual opposite is showing. He's doing better. So, nothing makes me prouder than when you all email me and say, Dan, I watch your show because I like to debate my liberal friends and win. Tell them, did you guys see the latest poll? By the way, it was covered on CNN. You think Donald Trump sucks on immigration? Why are his poll numbers better than they were in the last term? And by the way, he ran for term 47 and 45 on immigration. It's not like this is some mystery to people. I'm telling you, one of his greatest gifts is to state the obvious, a tautology, an axiomatic truth almost everyone agrees with, and then get the left to take the other position. The other one I bring up all the time because it's such a ground ball for the left and they can't get out of their own way is men's penises in the women's room and cutting off kids' nuts and breasts. This is fairly obvious. Same people are like, should we cut off my kids' balls? Not a good idea. Why not? Cut them off. But cut the nuts off. Don't cut the nuts. Breasts, nuts. It's a fairly obvious answer. It's, again, a moral compass North Star. But the magic of Donald Trump is to get the left to take the opposite position on rage alone. I'll show you what I mean with this other video coming up for a second, in a second, excuse me, where this lawmaker out of Minnesota, Michael Holstrom, looks like a pretty good guy. He's like, hey, so you guys want porn in kids' schools? I don't think that's a good idea, this Minnesota legislator. So he did this. He said, okay, I'm going to read the book out loud that you want 12-year-olds to read in school. The book is called, literally, This Book is Gay. That's the title of the book. So he's like, you wanted 12-year-olds to read this stuff. It's really graphic. And I'm going to warn you, this is another reason, by the way, to Braden McGroin, the language in this next segment is not good. Get your kids out of the room. But then the liberals want 12-year-olds to read this stuff. No, they just want you to read it when you're not around because they're pervs and disgusting. This is not safe for kids. And I'm telling you, if you've got kids, I'd say skip ahead, but you can't. It's live, unless you're watching on demand. I'll play the video next and watch the cringe factor in the room as the liberals who want the porn in the schools are like, we shouldn't read that here. Well, why not? Why not? Why not? You want a bunch of 12-year-olds? Why not? Why not? Why you want that? I'll take a quick break. And I'm just warning you, this is really gross stuff. Hey, been asked this question many times. How can you protect your family without taking a life? Well, I'll give you the answer. Byrna, they've been with me a long time. Byrna. You may have heard about them before, but if you haven't, they have these launchers. I have a few of them. Byrna sent me one a while ago. I trust it. Byrna's less than lethal launcher fires powerful kinetic and chemical rounds that can incapacitate an attacker for up to 30 minutes. It could give you time to get away, call for help, dial 911. Byrna, B-Y-R-N-A, Byrna's new compact launcher is about the size of a smartphone. It's easy to carry, really easy to use. There's no background check required. The Byrna CL fires at up to 400 feet per second with serious stopping power and was designed to help with de-escalation, not devastation. Byrna is proudly American, assembled in Fort Wayne, Indiana. More than 750,000 Byrna launchers are already in the hands of law enforcement and responsible citizens who want protection without tragedy. I get a ton of really positive emails about this product. If you believe in being prepared and you also believe in restraint, Byrna, B-Y-R-N-A, is for you. Here's the website. Go check it out. That's all I ask. Go to Byrna.com and learn more. That's B-Y-R-N-A, Byrna.com. Give it a look. I think you'll be really impressed. Byrna.com. Check it out. Our last sponsor today is Bone Charge. Folks, I'm a health hacks guy. I've been telling you all the time, I feel really good at 51. I love being here, but, I got some issues like everyone else. And my biggest problem right now is joint pain as I get older. A very active physical life has taken its toll. I cannot say enough about red light therapy. I do it, not every night. I skip Saturday night or Friday night, depending on date night. But without red light therapy, I wake up in the morning and feel terrible. I cannot say enough about it. I personally vouch for it. Research it. Well, the product I use is from Bone Charge, B-O-N-C-H-A-R-G-E. They're a global leader in premium wellness innovation, grounded in science and driven by purpose. They've created solutions that fit easily into every lifestyle, which is why their products work for me. Paula uses the red light mask on her face. If you've seen pictures of Paula, that's why she looks like she's 20 years old. She loves the mask. She uses it about 10 to 15 minutes a day. I see her upstairs sometimes we're watching TV. She loves the mask, swears by it. It's suitable for all skin types and can support a more youthful complexion. Just check her out if you doubt me. Smoother skin texture and more. Paula looks like she's still in her 20s when she's using it. It's fantastic. If you're ready to feel better, go to bonecharge.com and use code Bongino, B-O-N-G-I-N-O, to save 15% on your red light face mask. Again, that's bonecharge.com. Use code Bongino to save 15% on your red light face mask. I'll tell you, this thing also at night helps me go to sleep. Is it the red light? I love it. The statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. The products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease or condition. Bonecharge.com. Check it out. Okay. Language alert, but here we go. This is Minnesota State Senator Michael Holstrom doing God's work and exposing evil by reading aloud books crazy Democrats who hate Donald Trump and everyone else want in your kid's school. You've been warned for the last time. This is pretty nasty stuff. Check it out.
I look at some of the books that we're seeing commonly implemented in our libraries. We see, I actually went this morning and found This Book is Gay from some of our local libraries. Many of the libraries that testified here today do have it in stock on their shelves, recommended in the teen section as young as 12 years old. And this book, among other things, it recommends to young children how to flirt in gay bars. It recommends to children how to enter into non-consensual sexual relationships. And I'll read here. Oral sex is popping another dude's peen in your mouth or intending or indeed popping yours and his. There's only one way, hard and fast rule when it comes to blowjobs. Watch the teeth. And then it goes on to say that letting any guy come in your mouth is safe sex.
Okay.
No.
Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Oh, this isn't appropriate for this committee?
We don't need to read items that actually, it's not the things that you're reading that are inappropriate. You got your clippable moment. Maybe we can just move on.
It just seems absurd that this is appropriate for a 12-year-old, but not for the senators in this committee, but I will take it.
To the state senator, Michael Holstrom, I'd like to invite you on the show. So if your people are listening or watching on demand, guys, can you set that up if you'd like to come on? I would love to have you on the show. Folks, this is evil. Again, it was a big thing that before the show, we were arguing over people who are misguided and led astray. This is evil. Sexualizing your 12-year-old kid who is totally and completely unprepared for this about blowjobs and is evil. What? How do you not see that? This is why I keep telling you, we are in this really, really dark time where it's like this black cloud is hovering over our politics and people are just afraid to call it what it is. Now, this is pretty universal on our side. However, on the left, if you even call that stuff out, they have their own rage bot problem too. If you dare say, hey man, I'm all for LGBTQ stuff and I'm a lefty, whatever. I love all this stuff and you have all your rainbow stuff around, but I really don't think a 12-year-old should be learning about oral sex in schools. What, the rage bots go crazy on them too? I'm telling you, we are in this crazy time. This is why President Trump constantly brings this up. It's not that this issue dominates his politics. It's that the issue of combating evil does. And he understands that in the game of politics, stating the fairly obvious and getting the left to defend the indefensible is the only way to point out you have a binary choice right now. We've got elections coming up. You've got hair gel out in California. Gavin Newsom, who's clearly running for president. Who's he going to be running against? I don't know. But he's running. Make no mistake. Here's Gavin Newsom in an interview talking about how California was born of genocide. Gavin, grow some balls, the same balls you recommend kids cut off in your mutilation surgeries. Grow some balls then and support an executive order in a state of California or a piece of legislation to confiscate every wealthy Karen's land and give it back to the people you think are victims of genocide. Have some nuts, man. Go on the record. Give it back. Just give it back. You want to do land affirmations and all this born of genocide. Ladies and gentlemen, every single nation on earth, we've said this 1,000 times, has either been born out of some initial act of necessary violence or unnecessary violence. And after that, there has had to be violence throughout human history for people to preserve their territorial integrity everywhere on earth. Indian tribes fought each other. American Indian tribes fought each other. Colonialists fought each other. Anti-colonialists fought each other. This is not new. Give it back. Just give it all back. Well, remember Bill Eilish? Bill wanted to, We're on stolen land. Give your fucking house back then, man, and shut the fuck up. Give it back. Donate it. Can live in a tent somewhere. Here's Newsom, born out of genocide while he's hawking his book. Check this out.
I try to color quite literally with pastels the landscapes. I begin the book talking about looking out over the American River where Eureka was yelled, and yellow gold, and how, we were born of genocide in California. I try to paint a picture that is about California. It's about America. It's my family. It's the journey. And so I do think there's aspects of this that people can connect to in a very meaningful way, I hope.
Nah, bro, we don't connect with your fucking bullshit, okay? Yeah, California was born of genocide. Oh, look at these guys. They're all getting, see, you guys can feel free to, Josh and Andrew, I'll give you credit for that. San Francisco Standard, not part of the show. Gavin Newsom's family buys $9 million mansion in posh Marin town. Does he still own that winery? But there's the wine. $9 million. Hey, man, I'm a capitalist, brother. Good for you. But if it was born of genocide, how about you just donate your crib, man? How about it, bro? Lead from the front. Show some nuts, the same nuts you want to cut off. Grow some balls. Put some fertilizer on them nuts. Get back your mansion, brother. Why not? Why wouldn't you do it? You stole it. It was born of genocide. Gavin Newsom founded the Plump Jack Group in 1992, which grew into a wine and hospitality empire, including the Plump Jack Estate Winery in Oakville, Napa Valley, founded with Gordon Getty. Portfolio now includes its estate and 13 vineyard. Oh, okay, wow, looking good for him. So he's an empire, so he's a capitalist, pretending not to be a capitalist, talking about genocide, a $9 million mansion that this motherfucker doesn't want to give back. There's your guy on the left. Like I said, at least Donald Trump's honest. I don't think we should cut kids' nuts off. I don't think Somalis should come here if they want to steal from us. Is Gavin Newsom honest? California's born of genocide. That's easy to say from your $9 million mansion. Gavin Newsom has the same problem when he's going to run for president, by the way, that these other liberal governors do. Pritzker, Whitmer. They got the same problem. You know what their problem is? The U-Haul problem. Go up that New York Post article. Kathy Hochul and Mamdani got this problem too. Staggering 1/3 of New Yorkers want to flee New York, citing the cost of living and quality of life, survey shows. I know what you're thinking, because I'm thinking the same thing. But you voted for the, I know, I can't, I'm done trying to figure it out. They'd rather live like animals. You saw the lady on the Portland CVS video yesterday. I don't know. I come into the CVS store and everything's locked up. I can't get it. CVS, we're closing, moving out of town. They want to live like absolute animals. I don't understand. You'll never understand either. Don't try to. The more you try to understand, the crazier it gets for you. Just continue to be guided by your own North Star moral compass. Keep this movement strong and healthy, and learn to use discernment between people trying to bait you into bullshit and waste your time. Because the other side is totally full of shit. Donald Trump just speaks basic truths and the liberals go nuts. The Democrats never tell you the truth. It's a genocide. So give your mansion back. You probably spend more money on hair gel. Take the hair gel money and then go give it and donate it to a reparations fund or something. Show some balls. Finally, people speak it up too. Yesterday, I showed you a Mark Wayne Mullen clip about this bullshit Obamacare debate. The Democrat, who was Obama? Anybody out there in the audience know? Okay, obviously I'm being ridiculous. He's the new Democrat Ronald Reagan. They love Obama, despite one of the worst 8-year records in human history. Everything from economic growth to just the destruction of American culture. The guy was a disaster for 2 terms. His biggest achievement is bill called the Affordable Care Act that everybody knows as Obamacare, eponymously named. That's his name. It's not Reagan care, and it's certainly not Trump care. This thing sucks so bad, the Democrats had to shut down the government to get more money because of this sinking mess of a piece of legislation. So here's Ron Wyden, another Democrat lunatic, tweeting this out. Imagine the balls on this guy. Republicans jacked up your healthcare costs so they give more tax breaks to billionaires and health insurance companies. Bro, keep this up for a second. Are you shitting me, man? Here's your own New York Times, Ron Wyden, Senator Wyden. I'm going to call it Obamacare, it's the ACA. New Obamacare plans could increase family deductibles to $31,000. I thought it was supposed to save money. I thought it was saving money. I thought Obamacare. Hey guys, didn't Obamacare tell us it was going to save money? Obama from Obamacare, he told us that, right? Hat tip again, the legend, Maze Moore. I told you, video clips are the best in the business. Here's a Maze Moore clip of Obama telling you how Obamacare was going to save you money, but Republicans jacked up your health care. What bullshit? Check this out.
Will actually reduce the deficit by $4 trillion over the long term. Reducing the waste and inefficiency in Medicare and Medicaid will pay for most of this plan. It will slow the growth of healthcare costs for our families, our businesses, and our government. There will be a provision in this plan that requires us to come forward with more spending cuts if the savings we promised don't materialize.
Did the savings materialize, Guy? Can you put that up again? The New York Times article. Did the savings ever materialize? I mean, Obama from Obamacare told you the savings would materialize, correct? He said there were all kinds of stopgaps in case the savings didn't materialize. Reed Abelson, New York Times. Oh, Dan, this article isn't recent. Actually, it's February 26, 2026. New Obamacare plans could increase family deductibles to $31,000. I thought the savings were going to materialize. Hey, man, I'm not telling you in the midterms, again, Republicans are the solution to all your problems. I'm just telling you the cause of all your problems are the Democrats. Here's the bar graph, freeopp.org. Obamacare deductibles are more than double. You want more of this shit, you're going to get it good and hard. And they're always surprised by this, too. The Democrats feign surprise about everything. They're always surprised. Donald Trump got elected. Border crossings and illegal migrants admitted into the country are down to zero. Oh my gosh, I'm so surprised. How did that happen? The murder rates at an all-time low because Donald Trump just did this thing like lock up bad guys. Holy shit, how did that happen? I can't believe, as my mother-in-law would say, I cannot believe. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. GDP growth, when you start cutting government red tape and engage in tax cuts. Starts bumping around at 3 and 4 mark. I cannot believe what happened to Mark Obama. Never reached, by the way, ever. Look it up. They're always surprised. Here is maybe the worst political prognosticator on planet Earth. You know what? Put up the Washington Post article first. I'm going to do it in reverse. You know this guy, Chris Cillizza? He wrote this piece with Aaron Blake as one of my favorite pieces ever. You can look it up. It's still there. October 24, 2016, right before Trump 45. Victory, right? Chris Cillizza, Washington Post. Donald Trump's chances of winning are approaching zero. Yeah, good call on that. That was great. I'm glad you make your money in the political space. Fantastic. Well done on that one. Here is the same guy, absolutely stunned that after the State of the Union, which was a fantastic speech laying out actual results to the point CBS News fact-checked good chunks of it, and the New York Times, and it was true. What he said, he's stunned that people in the MAGA coalition still support President Trump after that banger of a speech. Stunned, totally stunned. Best political prognosticator in the business. Check this out.
I woke up Wednesday morning and read a bunch of the coverage, read the political tip sheets, and I was really surprised at the extent to which it was like, Trump did everything he needed to do in this speech. Trump laid out a blueprint for Republicans. And I was like, maybe I missed some of the speech, even though I watched it live with Chuck the whole time, because it seemed to me that what some in mainstream media were celebrating was the fact that Donald Trump didn't go wildly off script.
Yeah, I know you're surprised, Chris, just like you were surprised about Trump's chances of winning approaching zero when he won that election, despite all the nonsense. Maybe this is why, by the way, the Wall Street Journal is reporting the Washington Post is now, their losses topped $100 million. Shocker! People don't like bullshit all the time. Stunner. Hey, man, Washington Post, I'm all about the free press. I'll defend your right to be stupid. You just don't have to take us up on it all the time. All right, I wanted to. Did you guys see this video rocketing around Twitter the other day? This clip went nuclear yesterday, and I saw it on social media. I don't even know if it could be years old. I have no idea. But you know that show Bar Rescue, that guy John Taffer? He goes in, he saves these bars. And man, I'm going to tell you, I'm a spreadsheets guy. I love business. I'm an actual capitalist. I love making money. I celebrate people who make money, create jobs, create wealth. Good for you. I'm not a fake like Gavin Newsom, $9 million mansion. It bought a genocide. Give it back, bro. I don't have to give anything back because I bought it, okay? I love capitalism. Well, apparently so does John. This is just brilliant. This is what I'm talking about by when you're in the business space, in the space of politics, you got to divorce yourself from emotion and try to figure out what people are doing on the spreadsheet. What action have they performed that's a net present value of +1? But it applies to business too. If you're not measuring something, you're probably losing. He's talking about the restaurant business. Guy and I tried to trim this down, but we both agree. We don't like playing clips longer than a minute 30. It's about 2 minutes, just a bit under. But it's worth every second. He talks about the restaurant business and how he gets the customer to stay. It's just brilliant stuff. Check this out.
You go to a restaurant and have a flawless experience. I mean, flawless. Mm-hmm. The statistical likelihood of you coming back to that restaurant is about 42%. If you do come back and have a second flawless experience, your statistical likelihood of coming back a third time is still under 50%, about 47%. But if you come back a third time, the statistical likelihood of a fourth visit is 72%.
Isn't that wild?
So where restaurateurs blow it is they market to 1 visit. I market to 3 visits. So here's what happens when you come to our restaurant. We ask you if you've been here before. If you say no, we put a red cocktail napkin down. Everybody else has a white napkin. You got a red napkin. You say, why do I have a red napkin? Well, because you're a new customer. We want to make sure we welcome you. Oh, that feels pretty good. Mm-hmm. Manager must come up, introduce himself. Now, we'll send you a postcard that says you can get a free rib dinner at my restaurant any day of the week, nobody with you, no restrictions at all. So you come to my restaurant, you put the red napkin down, you give me the card for the free rib dinner, you have your free rib dinner. Just as it's ending, the manager comes up to the table and says, hey, how was your ribs? Oh, man, they were fucking delicious. He goes, oh, you got to try our chicken. He writes on the back of a business card, $5 off chicken, gives it to you. Now the manager's your buddy. It's handwritten. You come back with the business card for the $5 off chicken, which I'm breaking even on now, so there's no expense on this one. At the end of the meal, the manager comes over and says, how was it? He goes, great. You full? Oh, I'm stuffed. You got to come back and try my cheesecake. And he writes it on the back of the card, free piece of cheesecake. I get you back for the third visit. I got a 72% likelihood of another visit, and here's the trick. But the typical restaurant in a market like New York, if you advertise and then look at how many new customers you get, your acquisition cost can be almost $1,200 for every fucking customer you get.
Really?
It cost me $4 for a rib dinner, $1 for the postcard, and a free piece of cheesecake. The chicken was a wash. So it cost me about $8 to get a new customer. It cost somebody else over $1,000. That's the way you market a restaurant.
This is brilliant, man. And anytime I can do these timeline cleanse videos where I can pass off, trying to be as much as I can a happy warrior, some solid advice on life and business from me and others, I'm going to take it. That's the You Got to Try This podcast. So hat tip to them. Guy says it was this week. It's pretty timeless. So this week, this year, this decade, he's right. You can't measure it. Get out of the business space. Folks, producer Jim, we miss producer Jim. I haven't been on the radio. It was a choice I made coming back. I wanted to focus on the podcast. I love the radio. Maybe we'll pop in for some guest hosting once in a while. I still work with Westwood, the company that syndicated a radio show. But it was a lot to do and production-wise. And the biggest downside to it was making the show fresh both times. So I kind of stuck with this, but I do miss producer Jim a lot. I miss taking the calls. I miss the back and forth. So producer Jim's still working with us, and producer Jim doesn't like to leave on Friday. I got a couple more things to get to, so have no fear, but he doesn't like to leave on Friday without your Democrat Zen moment. The Democrats are the party of tolerance, coexistence, love, rainbows, and all that stuff. That's just their thing. I mean, they put it on bumper stickers and shit on the back of their cars, right? Tolerance, coexistence, except then when they want to kill you. So Jim puts together this moment of peace where you can sit down and meditate. This is definitely not family-friendly either meditation, but here's your Democrat Zen moment of the week for your Friday. Check this out.
Your Democrat Zen moment of the day. A peaceful moment to center your mind.
Here's the thing. I don't want impeachment. I don't want the them to serve time. I want them taken into the city town square, hung from their ankles, and cut them from groin to chin.
This has been Democrat Zen.
Thank you, producer Jim. I feel better already. You guys feel good? Andrew's like, they're all raising their hand. They just finished their air squats. They're feeling great. Minds are clear. Democrats clearing them right out. Folks, we could do that. You know who made just built an incredible kind of brand environment? Lives at TikTok, Chaya. She did an amazing job at just showing you Democrats who they are. That's who they are. You can pull 1,000 of these things. On a better note, I do want to leave you with some positive stuff, though, for the week, because it's a tough conversation to have today, and we're all going to have it. It's a time to choose, man. And the time to choose is now. Do you know Dennis Prager? Dennis Prager is just an icon in the conservative movement. Dennis been around a long time, been doing commentary for as long as I've been in the public space times 2. PragerU, of course, eponymously named there. Dennis had in case you haven't heard, had a really unfortunate and terrible fall. And there's not a lot out there about it. I was reading the Wall Street Journal yesterday, and he had an op-ed up. And Guy loved it too. It's an op-ed about how you have a choice when he had a really, really bad fall. I mean, honestly, should have died. His words, not mine. Luckily, his wife was there, got him to a hospital, and thank the Lord, he's still with us, but he's not in great shape. So he wrote this op-ed, and I say this to tie it back to the beginning of the show, how I know everything seems dark. You're dealing with the rage bots, the Jew haters, doomers, lying liberal media people, and you think like, we all get, me too, the woe is me thing. You got to be a happy warrior. I'm not telling you rose-colored glasses all the time. I'm just telling you, like, and I'll use this little story in a second, and you'll see what I mean. But put up that snippet from Dennis's piece. He's mostly paralyzed, but happy to be alive. He says, whenever I'm tempted to consider the unfairness of my condition, I remind myself of the ways of which I've been unfairly fortunate all of my life. Even at the moment of my fall, I had the good fortune of my wife's presence, ensuring I received medical attention as soon as possible. It's also remarkable, given that I sustained a hard blow to the back of my head, that I've been able to speak and maintain my mental faculties. Every doctor who's commented on my condition has described my ability to speak as, quote, miraculous. He notes none of those doctors were particularly religious. The last year of my life has been incredible in every way, but it's also been challenging. I took on the challenge and wouldn't change anything. But I walked in one morning, and there's an administrative assistant who worked up on the 7th floor, and always smiling, always. I mean, probably the happiest person I'd ever seen. She's new there too. So she's not part of the old that we brought her in. Always smiling, to the point where the security detail they would walk down the 7th floor, which is where my office was next to Kash's, right? And the security detail guys, because I'm not a morning person at all, but your show's in the morning. By 10 o'clock, I start to wake up. I'm not a morning person. These guys can vouch. I come in, I'm like, I don't know. I walk down the hallway at 7 o'clock in the morning, and just the smile, and the security guys would look at me like, where did she get the energy? So one day I come in, and I'm not saying her name, so I feel like she'd be okay with this. I see her crying. She's crying with the briefer who does the PDB every morning. And I'm like, what the? And the security guy looks at me, and I don't know. It was a Monday too. So she comes in, and I said, come here, sit down. What's going on? It tells me this story, which not relevant, but she was very sad, and understandably so. So I said to her, let's call her Tina, okay? I said, Tina, that's not her name, but I promise you, unlike liberals, it's a real story. I said, Tina, that's horrible. I said, every day I feel like we go through one of these dramas too, and although I'm not trying to compare anything that's happened to what just happened to you, I said, have you ever heard of the burnt toast theory of life? The burnt toast theory that, you're late for a plane. You're trying to make some toast to put something in your stomach. The toast burns, sets off the fire alarm, sprinklers goes off, you miss the plane, your house is flooded. You're like, there cannot be anything good that can possibly come out of this. Woe is me, I've been cursed. You get to the airport, you see a notification, sorry, whatever, plane's taken off. You're slamming, now I missed the plane, the apartment's flooded. I can't believe it, I burnt the toast. I'm gonna have to pay it $5,000 for Serve Pro or whatever. And the plane crashes, everybody dies. Look it up. It's called the burnt toast theory of life. That if you believe in Jesus or a higher power, like I do, as a very imperfect servant, by the way, there are obstacles put in front of you for a reason that whatever cosmic endgame you don't understand. And there's this story I saw, this fairy tale type fable. And I tell this story once in a while because it really hit me and I don't remember where I saw it. But is this farmer's he's on his farm and he's got horses and one of the horses runs away. So the neighbor comes over and says to the farmer, you guys ever heard this before? Jasmine? No? The neighbor comes over to the farmer and says, man, that really sucks. You lost your horse. That was a prized horse. My gosh, what are you going to do? That's really bad news. And the farmer says, well, good news, bad news. I don't know. We'll find out. Neighbor says, what? Next day, the horse comes back with another horse. Neighbor comes over. Says, you believe this luck? Freaking great news, man. You now got 2 horses. This is incredible. What good news? And the farmer says, good news, bad news. I don't know, but we'll find out. Then the farmer's son, a week later, is on the new horse, and the new horse isn't trained very well, throws him off and injures him really badly. And the neighbor comes over and goes, what horrible news, man. Your son got thrown off the freaking horse. Bro, it's bad news. And he says, good news, bad news. I don't know, we'll find out. And then 3 weeks later, while the son's recovering, this recruiter comes over for an operation and says, listen, we need to take this kid and put him in this operation. It's very unpopular and no one wants it. We need to take him. And it says, I can't, my son is injured. And the neighbor comes over and says, hey, what great news. He avoided that. No one wanted to be part of that terrible thing. And what does he say? Good news, bad news. I don't know. We'll find out. Burnt toast. God gives you a bunch of obstacles in your life. He's given us a bunch of them now. I think he gave us this time for choosing. I do. And when you look at it as not a good news, bad news, but as an obstacle to overcome, to not only grow personally, but to mature this movement, good news, bad news. I don't know. We'll find out. All right, folks. I don't have anything else to say. It's been an amazing 4 weeks. Thank you for everything. I give you all the other stuff, but I just don't feel like it. I feel like I should just leave you here. I'll see you back here on Monday.
Hey there, I'm Vince.
I'm Haley Carania,
Host of Vince.
host of Scrolling with Haley.
You can always catch my show right here
on the Bongino Report channel.
live, 8 a.m. Eastern, weekday mornings.
Noon weekdays. And if you miss it, no worries. The show will always be right here and anywhere you find a podcast. Thanks for watching.